Welcome back to the Making a Multi-Million-Dollar Med Spa podcast, where we have real conversations about what it takes to run a successful business. Thank you for joining us as we share our day-to-day successes and, even more importantly, failures and mistakes. Listen in as we host some of our peers, colleagues, and other experts in the field. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hi, welcome back to this episode with Tracie, our manager here at AesthetiCare. And today we're really going to focus on front desk, team building, all the secrets behind your amazing reports, and lots of other fun topics. So I'm really excited to have you.
Thank you.
Yes, so kind of jumping into team, because I think that that's definitely one of the most asked questions that I get is like finding talent, and then especially with the front desk, because it really is such a hard job, and they're not compensated the same way that our providers are compensated. Right. And so let's just kind of start out with, where do you think we find our best talent?
I honestly think our best talent is from referrals. It's somebody that knew somebody, whether they'd worked with them before, whether they know them because they're a neighbor. I genuinely think if they work with your personality, they usually work with the rest of our staff.
Yeah.
And outside of that, we use Indeed or a recruiting person through our corporate offices who's been wonderful, just kind of going through what we're looking for in somebody and then helping us find like 4 candidates that then we can proceed with.
I mean, Tracie, we have a recruiter now.
Yes, there you go.
I mean, we did not have a recruiter 6 months ago, right?
Yes. So we're lucky.
Yeah. I mean, so for many years, we did not use a recruiter.
Correct.
It really was. I mean, a lot of our team members come from referrals. And whether it's a team member's referral, a rep's referral, but if you're a brand new clinic and you're thinking, I don't have that set up yet, it's kind of getting creative and looking outside, but you have a network to some degree, right? So whether it's the soccer mom group or your church group or just kind of getting the word out and always talking about, hey, I'm looking for someone.
We've all posted on our personal social media before, which is always helpful. And then we did pay for Indeed for quite a while, just so that we could boost some of the information that we wanted to get out there to different candidates. And we got good people from that also. And it wasn't super expensive to have a subscription. So
that always works great. So when you're looking for a front desk person, what are some things that you feel like make the best characteristic traits or like personality, or what is something that you think that you found to be really important?
I genuinely believe that if they come in with a bubbly personality and a great smile, the rest we can figure out.
Yeah.
Because even on their worst day, they can laugh, they can dance, and it just supports everybody. Because we can't all have our best day. And I think when you constantly have team members that are supporting you, you just do. And we've been so fortunate.
Well, and I think too, just to have, when you have a late client, an upset client, dealing with the difficult clients, like all of those things. And if you're not to your core, that happy, smiley, it's okay kind of person, that would be overwhelming.
Very much so. Very much so.
So I love that.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
So how do you keep the front desk happy, like our team? Like, what are some things that you kind of do or feel like it's important to them that we do as a team to help them like keep that positive energy, or what are some things that you found to be helpful?
So we took an Enneagram test this year. And part of my big thing is I'm really trying to grow as a manager and digging in to see not only how our providers tick, because they're so important to our business, but how the support staff really likes to be engaged with and, what makes their heart happy. I've really tried to be present with them as much as I can and feed them knowledge too, because, I think when you get in a clinic and you start to see like the providers they generate lots of revenue, they're who clients do consultations with, but really it's the support staff that get the first and the last conversation. And that's we need to remind them how important they are. So trying to take time out of my day to make sure they feel important is something I've tried to be diligent with. And if they need something, I try to drop whatever I'm doing, because nothing is ever too important for who's in my office at that time. So.
Well, I love that, because I was just thinking, what about some examples of how you're going to be present? Because, it's like, what does that mean? But, truly it's, I think, taking that, they walk in the door and then it's all about them. And, as a manager, sometimes that's hard to do because you've got 50 things that you're currently working on, and so, that's huge for them. And then also you mentioned, making sure that they have training or whether it's, that's the confidence. What part there do you see like important?
So that's kind of something we're digging in deeper with. I definitely think that's a part of my role that I want to grow on with our staff too. You and I have had lots of conversations about training.
I love training.
Just because, it's so easy. I think even for myself, because I am so close to some of our providers and you and Matt, I get all this really cool information that sometimes I don't do a good enough job of supporting the people that are answering the phone, that are getting some of the crazy questions on the phone or maybe in person, making sure they feel just as educated as I do or a provider does, without giving somebody obviously a consultation. But, that you truly feel confident. So we're kind of working on how do we get our support staff more involved in MINT trainings and maybe sitting in some stuff with our providers so that they feel just as confident as the rest of us do.
I think it's so important. I think just for, I don't want to, not try to like make it about me, but if I don't feel like I know it, I don't want to feel stupid in front of a client.
Yes.
And I'm assuming that most of them don't either.
Yes.
Like nobody wants to feel stupid. And so if it's a new procedure, or even a procedure that we've had for a long time and they don't understand it, they haven't had it, they haven't seen it, they haven't, all of those things, it's hard to want to talk about it, right? So whether it's in the beginning, if you're a brand new clinic, like having someone that they can grab and say, hey, so-and-so's got a question on this treatment, I don't feel confident answering it. Can you come over and help me while they're getting up and going and learning about it?
Yes.
Not to just like drop it in, but I got to drop it in is like the MIT courses have all of the didactic throughout, so it's really making sure that we revisit those. And I'm constantly telling our clinics that visit here, like use it like a podcast when you're walking the dog or you're driving to work, choose to listen to 5 minutes out of that drive and to educate yourself, and at time that you're not going to be doing anything else anyway, right?
Yes.
You got to drive to work.
Yes.
And so I think that there are ways that we can incorporate those, but I'm all about the training. I want to give them the opportunity to grow and feel confident, and I think it's so important.
Yes. Makes a huge difference in your staff.
Yeah. I also love when we do treatment nights, like our team treatment nights, so that they get to experience the treatments as well. Because, again, for me, if I haven't had it, it's really hard to fully understand what that experience is like.
Yes.
And so, I think, we do a good job of that. We can always do better.
Yes. Always room to grow.
Well, what are a few things that excite you about what we do at AesthetiCare, or just our industry in general?
Oh my goodness, this office, I was thinking about it the other night, just kind of how fortunate we truly are. Like, we get access to brand new technology that really hasn't even hit the market yet. Like, we had Moxie before it was a thing. We are so blessed to get to have access to all that. Whether our clinic decides to take it on or not, again, knowledge is power. And I think having the ability to have those conversations of like, there may be a buzzword out there that clients are hearing, that if they're calling, we can say, well, we actually have something better, or we did vet that, or yes, we're getting ready to carry it, which is so cool.
I love it. I'm all about the technology.
Yes.
So I think, but it too is the point of like, we may not bring it all on, but we definitely take a look at it. And I think, sometimes when we've got the list of things going on.
Yes.
It feels like, do we really want to bring the technology to and spend the time on that? But one thing that Matt has been so good at pushing me with is like, just always bring it in. Take a look. It doesn't mean we're gonna buy it always, but then we get to take that look and understand it and make the right decision for the clinic and our team. Right. But, and so, and here I am like a total technology nerd, but sometimes like you're so in, you're just like, can we bring on one more thing?
Yes.
Maybe in a couple months. Like, give me a couple months,
It's like, we just talked about SoftWave.
Yeah.
We were like, how well is this working in the clinic? It's like, our staff loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They obviously love it. We're generating lots of revenue. Now we're going to have an advanced training on it. This is what's so cool about this office.
Yeah. There's always some fun things going on.
Oh my goodness, yes.
So anything else? Like anything else that you've seen out there that you think, I love that another clinic's doing, we should look into that, or, anything else about this industry in general that kind of lights you up?
I do think so I've been with you guys now for 4.5 years, and we've more than doubled our staff.
Oh my God, the best 4.5 years ever.
Yes. And I really love watching the process of us bringing somebody on. It's not just about me or you or Matt or Rick loving somebody new. It's about our entire staff loving them. Right. And you want to talk about finding a really good fit for an office and knowing that they are going to be embraced here. It's the fact that everybody kind of gets a say in that.
Yeah.
And even if you're a 3-person clinic, or if you're over
even
40 or 50.
Well, actually, probably all equally important, but definitely, yes.
It's really awesome to see that although you guys used to be so little and now we seem so massive, we didn't change any of that. We stuck to the basics because it worked. And it works time and time again, and we don't have turnover because of that. And I think that's really cool that you and Matt let all of us, I'm a manager, so it's easier for me to say, but like everybody gets a say.
I think it's cool. The most important thing.
Yes.
I mean, because, earlier in my career, I didn't really understand the value in that as much.
Yes.
And it felt like more so, this is the owner of that business that I worked for, and I'm this person. Or that's the manager of that business that I worked for, and I'm this person. And it didn't feel as connected. And so for me and Matt for many years, but that is the most important. We spend so much time together.
Yes. And
we're asking so much of each other. And so if you can't connect, then right? I mean, it just it really does make the biggest impact.
It really does.
As an aesthetics professional, you know how hard it can be to operate a clinic, onboard team members, improve your treatment techniques, and keep clients happy. The stress of it all can be a lot to handle. Let Mint Aesthetics take some of that off your shoulders. We offer a range of training options designed with your success as a central focus. From e-courses to hands-on training to business consulting, we have the tools you need to prosper in your business. Start with an online e-course before booking a hands-on training. Supplement your learning with virtual immersion courses. However you want to learn, we will be here to support you. Register online or contact us today at mintaesthetics.com. Don't get overwhelmed. Get serious about your success. Get Mint trained.
Okay, well, let's talk about something else that makes a huge impact, which you're so great at, which is a couple things I'm going to wrap into one, but all of the reports that you run, and also managing the programs, whether it's Excel or using Patient Now, to pull those reports, because we have been through some painful moments with our patient database.
Yes.
And so, just kind of looking at, let's start there first, because, I took this course years ago, and the financial guy made a comment, something like, and I wish I could remember his name, I'd give him credit, but it's basically like, your reports are the glasses to your business.
Yes.
Like without wearing your glasses, you can't see.
Correct.
And so if you don't have the reports, if you don't know how to run the reports, and then you really don't have the reports. But if that gives you it lets you see into your business. And so maybe just kind of touch on what you found to be helpful in going from where we started with Patient Now to where we are. And then, what are some of the top reports that you feel like, well, Matt is asking you for 20 reports a day, but
he loves my obsession
oh my
with
God,
Excel.
in one meeting, Tracie, I need a report on that. Tracie, I need a report on that. I mean,
it's part of my love language. It works out.
You're like, Carrie,
yeah,
and it's like that. Yeah.
Yes.
But, maybe just some helpful tips on reporting.
So, 4.5 years ago when we started this, we were ready to leave Patient Now. And Matt was very supportive in us leaving Patient Now. And over the past 18 months, they have really stepped up their game. So I would recommend that any clinic that is looking into an EMR system, they are the best one we have found on the market. There's an ability to text. They now have a whole separate system where you can send marketing emails. They have Canva attached to it now. You can record and listen to phone calls, understand what your team is saying on the phone, and it's all housed in one location. And now that we have 19 providers and over 36 treatment rooms, our ability to be able to see all of that in one swoop, they're the only ones that have been able to do that for us. So I will give them a little nod.
Well, that's
too.
a really great nod for them, because obviously they're not, they're not paying us for
exactly,
that. So I'm
exactly.
sure they'll appreciate that.
Yes. Now on the reporting side, there are still some hiccups, but I will say our rep now has been wonderful in supporting us with their development team and working through some of that so that we can get some of it fixed. But outside of that, I have started doing reporting for Matt on a monthly basis that's showing last year versus this year, and it's broken down from service and retail and also by the hours that they work.
All in Patient Now.
Because then you can actually see how productive somebody is in the hours that they're here. It's not just about somebody that works 5 days a week that's generating $100,000. It's somebody could be working 3 days a week and technically averaging just as much per hour, and we need to talk about their success too.
Definitely.
And so that reporting for me is amazing. And that's in Reports Now, and you can pull and toggle all the information that you want, whether you want to see one treatment, whether you want to see all of them, whether you want to break down by the treatment by category, and you can even see what provider's doing it, and we were talking
Retail.
Today. Yes. How much is somebody selling of this? Who likes it the most? You can see all of that.
I mean, it's just so
quick.
helpful. Okay, so whenever I look at a new technology, I always look at it. One of the first questions I ask is who can I not treat, or when am I going to get in trouble with this? You know, to avoid that. And so with Patient Now, what is it lacking? What do you feel like they could still grow or change? I mean, because can we take photos and upload them? It doesn't talk with Vizia, they're not an open API.
Correct. They did purchase RX Photo though, which is the other photo system that we use, whether the injectors use it or we use it for all of our body treatments. And you can upload all of the photos into there. We personally have chosen not to yet, just because we do some more intimate treatments, and we didn't want those in everybody's charting. We do let the staff chart in their rooms and all that kind of stuff, so we wanted to keep some of that separate. I think the biggest thing is we were trying to just kind of take a screenshot of one-time clients or rebooking rates. That's not there yet. So we found out
one and done, you mean? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. If they saw one of our providers and did a treatment and then scheduled with another, it looked like they never came back.
But they came back?
Yes.
So that
so
report,
we did some digging.
Yeah, originally the report made us look like we had a lot of one and dones.
Oh, yes.
And it turns out we really didn't.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was a fun mistake
It
that we
was.
found
It
because it
was.
was a little sad at first. Matt and I are
Yes.
having full meetings about it, and so.
And I was like, let me look into this, because that doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh. Okay, so that's Patient Now. And then is there any other software or program that you use to run reports? I mean, pretty much everything is done now through Patient Now.
It is. They do have that Aesthetic Now system that you can pull some other advanced reporting. We're just now getting trained on it. It's a brand new system, so I can report back later. But I'm definitely one that I may look at the report, but then I'm always like, not arguing with Matt, but I'm like, well, that doesn't seem right. Like, I'm up front, you know?
Yeah,
and
right.
so then it is digging just to make sure that some of them are right. But from like a revenue standpoint and how many treatments are done and the cost and all that, that is all perfection.
And so if I'm brand new to Patient Now as a manager, and how much training am I going to need to be able to run these reports?
A decent amount.
Yeah.
I would reach out to Mint and set up a training.
Yeah.
Literally. Not to like drop a pin in that one, but
I'll be booking you,
yeah,
by
you
the
can
way.
schedule me through Mint.
She's way better at Patient Now than I am. I would.
But it is definitely a learning curve. Like it was like a solid year of just clicking on things and figuring out what worked for our staff or what Matt wanted from, reporting, or what you might be interested based on consultation stuff. There was just a lot of learning, but I think once you figure it out, it really is 5 clicks.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
And then you can export it to a spreadsheet. So it is a good program.
Oh, I love that.
I like it.
So just like, I think first of all, or as we're kind of ending here, but a couple more things. One, when you look at your position overall and everything that you oversee and manage, are there any helpful tips that you would give to other managers out there in your space? Maybe something you thought was really important when you started, but you found isn't quite as important as you thought, or maybe you didn't think it was important at all, but now you found that it's really important. Is there any, kind of just a couple things that you would say, really spending time to do X, Y, or Z has made the biggest impact?
I feel like I've spent the last 18 months reflecting on me. I am a younger manager. I'm not going to get emotional about this.
Oh, I just love you so much.
Love you too. I'm newer at all of this. I've been a manager for 11-ish years now, but it is a newer role to me. And I think stopping and truly being present with our staff. I think I used to manage as like everybody was like me. People joke, but like my emails, like the subject title literally tells you usually everything you need to know. I'm a big texter. I have all of our staff on like a big group text, and I kind of had to, it was after the Enneagram test and just kind of talking with the staff. Everybody is so different. Everybody's not me. And I think really trying to take the time for each person on our staff made a huge difference in my relationship with all of them, but their relationship with me.
Yeah.
They know it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I try not to ever shut my door to my office unless I have to. And knowing that they can walk in and I want to hear their concern, even if it seems so small. Like somebody came in the other day and said something about a stool in one of the rooms, but it was jankety and a little off, and they were doing a laser treatment. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, okay, we need to stop what we're doing. We need to check the stools.
Right.
Are there other ones? Like that, I feel like has changed my relationship with quite a few people on this staff that I wasn't maybe as close to. And I know there is kind of this line of like, you are in a management role, but I am still a female and I'm a mom and I understand life happens. And being supportive of everybody, I've tried to really practice in my life as a manager and at home too. But like, you know, I've tried to really grow with all of them.
Attention, aesthetic professionals. Mark your calendar for the Mint Aesthetics Virtual Immersion Training Day on June 16th. Join me that Friday for a deep dive training covering the details of BBL, halo, and combination treatments. Designed for owners and providers alike, the day will cover technology, settings, technique, and post-care, all for one price for your entire team. In the morning, we have a special guest with a dedicated topic to give you a focused look into the operations of a medical aesthetic practice. From marketing to treatment skills, we will bring you the experts who have made our own clinics so successful. Register to attend the virtual immersion course at mintaesthetics.com/group-training. We'll see you there.
Tracie, it's really, really, really obvious.
Yeah,
because,
I adore them.
You know, and our entire team adores you. And I think, you know, when you have such a big team with so many personalities, that's hard to accomplish, you know, and you've really excelled at that. So I hope that you just feel huge success in yourself for that amazing accomplishment, you know.
Yes. They support me just like they fulfill me just as much.
Yeah, I love that. Well, into the Enneagram, I mean, I've done personality tests in the past, but I'd never done that one. And I loved it. I mean, especially because I work with my spouse.
Yes, it's you.
I mean, you know, you work with us. I'm so sorry. But so, you know, it was hilarious to look at, which I knew, you know, I get it, but it really like defines a good portion of his personality and mine too. And then how it all works. But I thought, you know, and it was great for me to see everybody kind of put into like the numbers. And again, not to define them as a number, but just to help me understand, you know, how to help them and how, you know, again, like we're all so different. And I, you know, as a manager, I really want to help them grow. You know, and I want them to feel love and support the way they feel love and support, not the way I feel love and support. So all those things. And so, you know, it's just such a simple test that you can do. And I feel like it's really, there's quite a few of us that have made a similar comment. So, you know, out there, if you guys are listening, take the test. I mean, it took me probably, I mean, I'd say somebody that likes to take time and read it over and over again, probably.
Which we had people that did that. It was just interesting to watch everybody.
I mean, I was like I mean, I think it took me maybe 20 to 25 minutes, but I think it could take you up to 45 minutes, which I think is so valuable. Just like less than an hour, you've got all of this great information about your team, and it wasn't expensive.
No, I think we paid $12 a person.
Yeah, I mean, $12 for all of that information.
Yes.
And I loved how the team was looking at each other like, oh my gosh, that totally makes sense, you know? So, yeah, that was a great tool.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
I think we need a round 2 of it to dig into the second number. Because they give you your top 3, which was so...
We should.
You know.
Yeah, I like that idea. Maybe even just at our team meetings, just a little 10-minute thing on the numbers, kind of revisit it, you know, once a month or something like that. I love that. So what are some other things or activities or ways that you feel like are good for team building? I think that's a great team builder.
Yes.
You know, and different, always when I'm talking with other clinics, I'm like, you know, not everything that we do is going to work for every clinic.
Right.
You know, and sometimes the things that we do don't work for us. You know, and so it's like, well, what are some things that you feel like have been really valuable? And even if it's just one, you know.
I do think the fact that Matt puts on paper the way he likes phone calls answered, these really great talking points. I jokingly one day put them on flashcards, and I was texting them to our support staff just like a daily, like,
you're so cute.
It takes 5 minutes. Like, it's Moxie. Here's the top 3.
Yeah.
Because I know it's like we all get busy.
Yeah.
And, you know, if somebody asks me, what are your 3 favorite things about Moxie? I'd be like, I don't know. But just kind of this like daily, kind of turn it into a game, make it fun. We also had a staff meeting where we got into small groups and the providers talked to the support staff about treatments. Huge growth. You know, because they got to sit there and learn and absorb.
And they didn't feel like they were put on stage.
Yes.
Too.
Yes.
I think that's.
So I think it's funny because I feel like we still look at ourselves as a small business. We're probably more of a medium-sized business. But it's funny to when we kind of go back into like small mode and get into smaller groups and take the time for each other, how much we all grow.
Yeah.
And it sounds so simple, but we see it every single day. We're like, oh shoot, we should have done this instead of this, or why did we think we should do that as a 45, 50 person group? We should have done that as a smaller group. We would have learned more. And I think that's,
I love that. We're bigger, but we need to think small again.
I know.
That's really
it
great.
Works every
I'm going to find this and listen to it over and over again. Play it in Matt's office.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Matt, listen to us.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
So is there anything else that you can think of that you'd like to share? Anything that we didn't touch on that you had thought about that I didn't ask?
We did do a fun chicken and pickle day as a staff group. You could come or not. You could bring your spouse. You guys,
the Chiefs watch party.
Yes, that was a blast.
I like that one too. I actually, I love to put the calendar out and plan it all out. And I actually thought about that one this morning in our meeting also. Is just what's our next team event? And I think that, again, if you can't come, you can't come, but you hope that everyone comes.
Yes.
And it just gets us outside of work.
Yes.
To
and
sit down and chat.
Work.
Right.
Yes.
And if you didn't want to watch the NFL game, that's okay, because Chicken Pickle is like the pickleball courts with a decent bar food.
Yes.
And you have drinks, and an outdoor patio area and some other fun games. And so, it could be interactive and movement a little bit if you wanted, or if you're just like obsessed with the Chiefs, like somebody I know, then you watch every second of the game. But yeah, that was fun. We need to get the next one of those on the books.
We do. Right.
Thank you so much for doing this with me today.
Yes.
You are just so amazing. I hope you feel that every day, how much we appreciate you.
I do.
And the impact you make in our lives and everyone that we work with. So thank you so much,
Tracie.
Tracie.
About you guys.
Thanks for listening in, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Making of a Multi-Million-Dollar Med Spa podcast. Thanks for listening to today's episode. We would love it if you left a review to help other providers and clinics find us. Also, if you want more information about anything we discussed in this episode, check out our show notes. Until next time, this has been the Making a Multi-Million-Dollar Med Spa podcast.